Right, JDs and Lettleman, we have quite a fun video today, actually.
This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is intended for educational purposes only.
I have like a private Discord group where I teach people one-on-one. We do a bunch of stuff and I record the sessions and we basically just jump on calls and hack stuff. And one thing that I've been wanting to do for a while is mobile hacking. I've been wanting to mess with mobile applications because they're ultimately kind of an interface to a web application, and mobile app is often less secured, so it might even reveal API endpoints or functionality that the web application also has, but that's just exposed on the mobile applications. Chatting to one of the guys in the server, and he's kind of talking about how he's found these bugs with mobile hacking, and I'm like, cool. And I was like, can you tell me a bit about your setup? And he said, well, I use Android Studio, Android emulator, and he was saying I use MITM proxy or man in the middle proxy, which isn't my personal favorite. So I decided to do a bit of a different setup, and I'm going to walk you guys through how I've set this up and how I bypass SSL pinning and root detections. So the first step to setting this up is obviously we need our Android application here. So this tutorial is going to be for Android Studio. And so the first step here is go to your device manager in a new project, go plus, create a virtual device. It's going to open up this dialog here and just search for your desired device, such as a Pixel 6. In my case, you select it, click next. And then what you're going to want is to go to APIs and click API 31 Android 12. This is to ensure it's compatible with Magisk, which is what we're going to use to root this phone. And rooting an Android device, essentially Android at its core is a Linux system. Well, at least a Linux-based system. And you can, by rooting the phone, and it only works on some supported devices, you're able to get super user privileges and mess with the phone a little bit more. So you're going to want the API 31, and you're going to want this. You're going to want the Google APIs, not Play Store, Google APIs, x86-64 Atom system image. You're going to select this and click finish and create your device. Okay, I already have one, so I'm going to skip that step. Now, when you have a device, the first thing is to boot it up and then git clone BrutDroid. I'm going to put a link to BrutDroid in the description. It's a project by Brute Security and it is incredible. It helped me so much. I cannot recommend it highly enough. For example, it actually has this whole workflow in it as well. So let's say creating that device that we just did, right? You can click on option 1 from the menu. And you just run this with Python. By the way, they have instructions on their GitHub, again, in the video description. And it's going to give you the steps to go to Device Manager, Virtual, create a virtual device, Pixel 654, as I was saying, and then ensure you're using API level 31 on Android 12 with either x86-64 or ARM64 architecture. If it's not listed, I forgot to mention this, you can click download to get it from the SDK manager. And as I was saying, why we're using API 31 is it just ensures it's compatible with Magisk and Frida, which I'll get into in a second. Then you're going to configure and launch the emulator by going here, and there'll be a little play button here, but mine's already running. So now let's go back to the main menu, and the next step is to root the emulator. So you're going to click 2. I'm not going to do it, but it's basically going to say, installing Magisk, blah, 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 blah. And then it's going to ask you for the system image path. It's going to suggest one for you, but what you need to know that tripped me up was you have to go to Tools, SDK Manager, and grab this path, then add a / after it, and then the suggested path. And make sure you're not doing the Play Store path. Make sure it is the Google API, not the Play Store one. You'll know what I mean as soon as you do this and it gives you the prompt. It's going to give you 2 options. The other step after that is to install tools. So we go to 3. And we are going to see available tools and you just want to make sure that you have Frida tools and Frida installed, which they should be already. And then you're going to do for configure emulator. And this is an important step. The first thing you need is you need Burp Suite set up with the proxy on localhost port 8080. Okay, so you need this 127.0.0.1.8080 as your Burp Suite proxy. So instead of Mitim proxy, which is a command line tool and a little limited in some senses, Burp Suite has a little more functionality, especially because I have the professional version, although that's not needed. You want to ensure that proxy is set up, and then you're going to press 2 to install the Burp Suite certification. I've already done this, so I'm not going to do it, but it just kind of, pretty self-explanatory, gives you all the instructions. And then you're also going to install the Frida server. And once you've done that, you're going to press 3 and go back. Then you're going to press... No, I already did that. Then we're going to do 5 to run Frida server. And then now we have the option to do 6, which is Frida tools. So this comes pre-installed with a couple of options. We can list apps, bypass SSL pinning. So some apps will have SSL pinning enabled, and that will break the Burp proxy. And so we have to bypass this by hooking that function in Frida and essentially manipulating it to trick the app into allowing us to capture that traffic. The other option is we can bypass SSL plus root check. So for example, we have root detection in some apps that checks if you're root. And I'm going to show you an example of bypassing SSL pinning now, actually. So I'm going to demonstrate this on an app that I know uses SSL pinning, which is X. So we're going to go X app, APK download. And we're just going to grab this from, let's say, APK Pure. And it's going to be 105 megabytes. We can go ahead and download that APK. We'll give this a moment to load. Scroll down a little bit. See if we can find a download link and not click on any apps. And we have download XAPK. XAPK is basically just a kind of differently structured APK file. You will need an XAPK installer installed. I already have that, and I'll show you momentarily. We're just waiting for our download to start. It can take a while because this is a little slow, this kind of instance that I have set up, because, well, my PC isn't great. But I'm going to pause this recording and come back to you guys once this is finished downloading. So, but after a lot of trial and error, my emulator is being weird with X. Well, more specifically, I haven't been bothered to set up Cloudflare bypasses for my Burp proxy, and all of the sites where I can download an XAPK are blocked. However, I realized that the app I'm going to be testing in this video has SSL pinning anyways. So you'll note here, when I go, this is the initial page you're greeted with the first time you open the app, and I click continue and we get this, oops, something went wrong, please try again later. And my best guess is this is due to SSL pinning. So what I'm going to do is close out of this application, give it a moment. And then we are going to use the bypass SSL pinning payload here. Oops. What we need to do first, actually, is we need to list apps. We'll give it one moment to do this. And we're looking for Swiggy. And specifically, we're looking for this identifier here. So we're going to copy that to our clipboard and press enter, and we'll give it one moment, and then we're going to go back to bypass SSL pinning, and we see here, paste this in, Failed to spawn new gadget on jail Android. Unsure why I'm getting this error, but we'll try it again. Strangeness. Alright, give me one moment and I will get back to you guys and get this working. Okay, I think I figured it out. I think I was just an idiot. I thought I had run the Frida server, but I think I did that on a previous Android instance. So we're going to try that again. Now that I've obviously gone into the run Frida server option and, you know, done that. So let's do bypass SSL pinning. God, I forgot the app name. Oh no. Alright, list apps. Let's go. Here we are. And we want the Swiggy identifier here. Copy that. Enter. And then we want to wait for this to load. Bypass SSL pinning. We put this in. Theoretically, this is going to work. Yes! JD's and Lennelman. This is what we like to see. Oh, I'm so dumb. Okay. Now, we're going to try this again. Oops. Get rid of this. And we're going to try a burner number just to see if it'll accept it. So, 7 4 2 8 7 3 0 8 9 4. And as you can see, now the app is working like normal. We're not getting that error from before, and that's because we've used Frida, you can see here, to bypass the SSL pinning. Okay. Now I actually need that code to come through. This is a temp number, so I'm not sure how reliable it's gonna be. Give me one moment. I'm just gonna pause this and then get back to you guys once I've made an account. Alright, so after a little bit of trial and error, I figured out that the actual text system doesn't work. It's broken, which is really annoying, but you know, anyways, we're gonna get on with this. So we have our burp certificate set up, so we can actually just clear our history here. Excuse my voice, by the way, I'm a bit sick, and we'll just put in a random address. Okay, let's just see. Let's pick a random suggested address. Oops, 45 something. Here, why not? And we can see all of these bypasses happening here in real time. And now if we open up Burp Suite, we can see all of these requests happening, right? We have an API immediately. We have post requests to a config endpoint. We have, yeah, tons and tons of stuff here. We have post requests to mobile v3. We have some audio. We have post request to a message set, which is interesting. We have a UID here, which I want to inspect to see if this is a secure UID version, or UUID, excuse me, not UID. Because if it has insecure cryptography or something like that, which is common on mobile applications, then, you know, obviously it's exploitable. And now we can mess with this app and actually test it in Burp Suite, just like we would a web application, which is pretty cool. And we can just, we can intercept requests, we can mess with them, and we can do some pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to check out this UUID and get back to you guys in a moment. Alright, so this is UUID version 4, which has 120 something bits of randomness. Essentially, it's secure cryptographically. Is that the word? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so we can, you know, obviously go ahead and just start testing this like a regular application, right? We can search here and just look for anything and hit search. Hit search. Any week now. Then we can look for where this actually happens. And we can see our query is sent here. We could try and mess with this, potentially look for SQLI or, you know, no SQL injection. We can test different things. I'm noticing that all of these requests are sent to the message set endpoint, which returns message successfully retrieved and also error, weirdly, even though it worked. But who knows? And yeah, I mean, we can just start using this like a normal app and just kind of mess with stuff like any other web application, which I think is pretty cool, especially from a reconnaissance standpoint, because let me just get rid of this. Yeah, especially from a reconnaissance standpoint, because this does take a little bit extra setup, and so many bug hunters aren't going to test these mobile applications, and so yeah, I mean, you kind of get to do some cool stuff here. We can test authentication as well. So for example, if we put in an Australian number and we do like 0490780225, just random fake number. It's not my number. Don't try and prank call it, because it's not me. And then if we go continue, you'll note that we can actually intercept this request. We can send it to repeater. Whoa, what is this? We have an analytics endpoint, which is always great for blind cross-site scripting. We can just turn intercept off here, and we get this option to enter OTP or one-time password, or one-time PIN rather in this case. Verify and proceed, and now we can see how it handles this. We have an OTP value, so we can send this to repeater. We have another message set, which gives us a screen name, which is interesting. And what I want to do here is intercept the response to this request. So do intercept response to this request, and then forward, and see what it sends. The OTP you entered is invalid. Gives us back a session ID, whatever TID stands for, I can't remember. Device ID. the app now freezes, but I wonder if, yeah, okay, so we have good expiration here. And we have this endpoint here, which allows sign up, I would assume. And then we have our analytics where we can try and inject blind XSS payloads, like maybe grab a collaborator link, go back to repeater, and something that's like likely to be in their analytics, right? Like device manufacturer here. Perhaps we change this out for SVG onload equals fetch collaborator URL, and then close that off. I don't know if it's actually going to accept this. Okay, so status code 1, which is the same status code we got before. I don't even know if my syntax there is right. I just use my cheat sheet for this stuff normally. But yeah, we can basically jam this payload everywhere where there's user input and basically hope that it reflects unsafely in a backend and an admin clicks it. We can also just straight up jam in a collaborator URL. So we can just go here. Where is it? Insert collaborator payload. Yeah, we can just shove that in there. Check for, you know, any server-side request forgery weirdness, any callbacks happening in collaborator. We can shove it in. I mean, what happens if we change this UID to something invalid? We still get status code 1. So that probably means we can I keep doing that, man. We can shove this in here, and it's gonna still give us status code 1. We can just keep throwing this in there, and we can mess with stuff. But yeah, that kind of summarizes my new setup for mobile pen testing and bug hunting. You guys are gonna see a lot more content around this in the coming weeks and months. Because I find it super interesting. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and hopefully I can find some cool mobile bugs and make some content for you guys, get that out there. Got a new editor, we're back on the content grind. We're gonna be like, I mean, obviously it takes time to edit the videos, but I'm gonna be recording a video a day or a video every 2 days. I'm gonna be super consistent, and we're gonna make this channel blow up again. So I really appreciate all of you guys. One quick thing to reiterate, if you want my Discord, just DM me. I get so many comments going like, where's the Discord, where's the Discord? DM me on Discord and I will add you. My username is 0days_cyber, that is 0 days with a 0. The links keep expiring, I don't know why, because I set it up correctly and they still expire. Also, if you want to join the private group, which for transparency is paid, by the way, if you don't want to pay for it, don't join. It's capped at 100 members. We're at about 50 right now. I have no idea, but that's off the top of my head. But yeah, that is in my channel bio. The conversion rate's roughly, it's like 20 Australian dollars, so I think it's 13 US dollars per month at the moment. And that gets you access to the calls we do, the King of the Hill games we do in the server, which are pretty cool. You can look them up. Try Hack Me does them. That gets you access to all my resources and cheat sheet and the recordings of the sessions and, you know, all that fun stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Fun one to make. I'm gonna keep messing with this and hopefully come back to you guys with some bugs. Thanks for watching. If you could subscribe, I would really appreciate that because I'm broke. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, have an amazing rest of your day / evening, and peace.